Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
I hate to even say this at the start of the show because it'll probably start an argument again, but this show is probably heard more today than it was in the day it was originally broadcast, because it was only broadcast primarily on the west coast of the United States. There were a few periods of time that the Whistler was heard nationwide, but it was not for extended periods of time. For the bulk of its run, it was only heard on the west coast of the United States because the Whistler was sponsored by Signal Oil, and Signal Oil was only available in California and Nevada and Washington and Oregon, and I think there may have been a couple of other states, but primarily those states is where Signal Oil was available. And that's what you're going to hear, the Signal Oil program, The Whistler. This episode originally broadcast February 4th, 1948. This episode entitled Undertow.
The Signal Oil program, The Whistler. That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
Yes, friends, it's time for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler. Rated tops in popularity for a longer period of time than any other West Coast program in radio history. And Signal gasoline is tops, too. Tops in quality. It takes extra quality, you know, to give you extra mileage. And Signal is the famous Go Farther gasoline. So look for the Signal circle sign in yellow and black that identifies friendly dealer-owned Signal stations from Canada to Mexico. And now the Whistler's strange story. Undertow.
He had all summer in which to do nothing, and that's what he was doing. Driving north along the coast from New York, stopping when he felt like it, swimming when the beach looked inviting. For above everything else, John Digby loved to swim, to trot down across the white beach to the blue Atlantic water, plunge through the long, lazy rollers, out 100 yards, a mile, with tireless strokes, content with the feeling that he belonged there, that the ocean was his home. He'd been 10 days coming north to Cape Ann, and as he floated out beyond the breaker line, he knew that here was the most beautiful spot of all. Made up his mind to linger for a few days, a week perhaps, before going on. It was then, looking back at the beach, at peace with himself and the world, that John saw her. A tiny figure in a green bathing suit, standing before a beach house hidden by an indentation in the cliff. Curious, he started back toward the beach, toward the place where he saw her plunge into the water and start out.
Well, hello there.
Hello, mermaid.
You're a wonderful swimmer. I've been watching you through the glasses. Had to come out and join you.
It's a big ocean. Anybody can use it. National policy, you know.
What?
Freedom of the seas.
But I hope you don't mind the intrusion.
Oh, not at all. You swim very well.
But I never have anyone to swim with. That's why I came out now.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
Give me a head start and I'll race you in.
Okay, you're on. Oh.
I win.
Yeah, nice going.
Oh, I'm going to collapse right here in the sand and catch my breath. Oh, wasn't it glorious?
Oh, nothing like it. I love to swim, always did, since I was a kid.
You're from New York, aren't you?
Yeah, I got my first taste of water off the East River docks. How'd you guess?
The way you talk.
And you're a denizen of the deep. Only what did you do with your long silver tail?
Only wear it on Sundays.
Say, do you live in that house around the bend?
During the summer.
Just where I'd want a house if I had my choice. Sand and water and no one around for miles.
Gets lonely sometimes.
Doesn't have to.
Would you like a hot drink, coffee, or anything else?
How about anything else?
Well, if I remember correctly, we have a whole cabinet full of assorted anything else. You know how to mix it. Why don't you give me 15 minutes to get dressed?
She smiles, walks away from you toward the house, around the shoulder of the cliff. Her long, slim legs swinging gracefully over the sand. Her hair bobbing easily from side to side, like a honey-colored cascade in the still air. And back at the car, when you finish dressing, you find yourself taking a little extra care to comb your own sparse hair over the bald spot, feeling your 40 years a little guiltily for the first time. It's a very long 15 minutes before you walk up to the door.
Come on in. I'm making sandwiches.
Wonderful.
And will you have bourbon, scotch?
You can stop right there. Bourbon straight.
I see you're a man of very definite opinion.
Oh, I've been known to waver.
I like that.
Wavering?
The definite opinion. I bet it goes right down the line with you. Business, politics, the books you read.
Oh, please. I'm not pig-headed, really.
I didn't mean that at all. Here you are.
Thanks. Well, here's looking at you.
Yes, so I've noticed.
Will you drink to it?
Of course. Why not?
Well, the sandwiches were wonderful and the anything else.
You'll be back again tomorrow to swim.
I think so.
Will you let me start out with you?
You were right a while ago. I have pretty set ideas about politics and business.
Oh?
Women, too. My name is John Digby. I'm stopping at the Gloucester Inn. I'm, not married.
I'm Sandra Merivale. Mrs. Sandra Merivale.
I see.
You will make it tomorrow.
Goodbye, Mrs. Merivale. Thanks for your hospitality.
You're welcome. Except for weekends, my husband never comes home till 8. He has his business in Boston.
I'd like to meet him sometime.
I'll expect you about 10.
Goodbye, Mrs. Merivale. Hello?
It's me.
I thought it might be.
I'm calling from the drugstore on Main Street.
Yes?
I'll park my car in the drive near the statue in 10 minutes.
Do you always do that?
What?
Give a man the exact number of minutes to meet you? Suppose I'm not there in 10 minutes.
You'll be there.
You're making it difficult.
I think I know what I'm doing. So do you.
Yes. All right. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Here's the place.
Yes, it's very nice.
In the daytime, you can see for miles. That's the town back there. The lighthouse.
Yes, I see it.
Got a cigarette?
Oh, sure. Here you are.
Thanks. There, that's better. I always come up here when I want to think. Strange, isn't it? Being up high this way. Looking down on the ocean, on the town. Gives you a curious sense of power.
I do most of my philosophizing out there.
In the water?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever swim at night?
Sometimes.
Harrison does. It's to show he's not really afraid. He doesn't swim well, but he grits his teeth and swims out to where it's just over his head, and then back again.
That takes courage, overcoming two fears at the same time, the darkness and the water.
You're not afraid of the water, are you, John?
No. But there are other things.
Like what?
Like married women.
Any ethical objection?
No. Strictly practical.
We're very much alike. Tell me more about yourself, John.
My name is John Digby. I'm stopping at the Gloucester Inn until tomorrow. I'm not married. I'm 40 years old, about twice your age.
I'm 25.
Not quite young enough to be my daughter.
Harrison's 50.
Good for Harrison.
Why didn't you ever marry, John?
It's hard to say. Why did you?
Check. John.
Wait a minute. Look, Sandra.
Please, John.
Oh.
Why are you afraid of me?
Skip it, will you? Come on. Let's go back to the hotel.
Her kiss tasted salt, like the ocean, like tears. And somehow you find yourself remembering the time you battled the Undertow for 2 hours off the Carolina Capes. And during the week that follows, the feeling stays with you. Through the morning swims off the bright beach, the lunches with her, the afternoons lying in the warm sand. Even with the final realization that you were so in love with her that you shut the future out of your mind. Something would have to be done, of course, but you hoped it would take care of itself when the time came. Then, when you drive up the following Monday, she comes out to the car in her bathing suit.
Don't get out.
Why not?
There's a barge anchored 100 yards offshore. Some scientist from Woods Hole conducting some sort of experiment.
Oh, why did they have to pick on our little piece of ocean?
Oh, I don't know. But I don't want them to see us together. We'll swim on the other side of the Cape. I have lunch in the basket. We can spend the day.
You think of everything, don't you?
I try to, darling.
Oh, it's nice here.
John.
Yes?
What are we going to do?
Do?
About us.
Oh.
You know, we can't hide away from people forever.
All right, so we won't hide. We'll face it out. You can pack up some things and we'll start driving.
Oh, he won't give me a divorce. I've talked to him before.
We can make Reno in 5 days. 6 weeks after that, you're free.
No.
Why not?
Harrison's made everything possible for me, John. Given me things I always dreamed of having someday. Everything except...
Yes. Look, Angel, you've got to be sensible. You can't have your cake and eat it too, you know.
I can't give all those things up, John. I love you, believe me, but I can't give them up. You must think of a way, some way. You're smart. You know how to do things.
All right, Sandra. Just give me a little time to think.
He says he wants to close up the beach house and go back to the city.
Why?
I can't understand. He's become more interested in swimming lately. Goes all the way out to the barge. 100 yards. Boasts about it to his business friends.
You mean he swims out at night alone?
Yes.
That could be dangerous.
I've told him so, but he insists on showing off.
I see.
What do you see, John?
Little girls shouldn't ask questions.
With the prologue of Undertow, the Signal Oil Company is bringing you another strange story by The Whistler.
February 4th, 1948, The Whistler on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater family, you know our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by just creating the best pillow. He created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, because, you know, I'm working like 67 hours a day. Now, Mike's offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets ever. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. You'll never want to sleep on anything else once you slept on a set of Giza Dream sheets. A special offer for you right now. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. Call 1-800-928-4715. Use the promo code Wyatt. Or go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Wyatt. It's good on anything on the website. That number again, 1-800-928-4715. Use my promo code Wyatt. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of The Whistler, Undertow, February 4th, 1948.
It's something out of a fantasy, John, like swimming underwater, with blurred shapes and shadows, your mind moving past everything except what you must do to have Sandra. 2 weeks ago, you'd have laughed at the kind of thoughts that have taken hold of you, because that was before you met her, before she'd come swimming out to you from the white beach shoreline of the cove at Cape Ann. But now the things she said come to you over and over.
It's to show he's not really afraid. He swims all the way out to the barge, 100 yards, all alone. He boasts about it to his friends in the city.
You shiver slightly, John, but then you tell yourself it's the only way, and you have to have her. During your swim the next day, neither of you talk very much, and you find yourself surprised and a little alarmed that Sandra has sensed your mood so quickly. And it isn't until almost time to start back to the village that you can bring yourself to mention his name.
Sandra.
Yes, darling.
He'll be home tonight, as usual.
Harrison? Of course.
No special plans, no appointments in the village?
No.
Good. Sandra, make sure he goes for his swim tonight.
But...
Never mind the questions, just be sure he goes swimming tonight. It's cold out there.
He'll go.
Good.
There's only one thing.
Yes?
Well, someone might think that I went with him.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Could you have someone over for dinner? Somebody who doesn't care for night swimming?
I think so. Betty had come. What if she wants to watch?
All the better. There won't be anything to see. There's no moon.
But if he cries out?
He won't.
All right. I'll arrange everything.
You start early, John, but even in the darkness you have a little trouble finding the barge. It's necessary to swim out to sea a ways and get the house lights behind it. Then, clinging to the anchor chain and cables, you wait, stiff with the cold. But just when you're almost ready to give up, Sandra's voice carries across the water to you, crisp and clear.
Now do be careful, Harrison, please.
I'm all right.
We can watch from here, Betty.
You won't see much.
You strain to get a look at him in the darkness, but it's no use. You'll have to go by the sound. And then you hear him swimming towards you. You listen to him moving closer and closer. When he's almost to the barge, you take a deep breath. Pull yourself down on the anchor chain. The water is pitch black, John, and it won't be easy to find him. But you move under the surface to the point where you plan to meet him. His thrashing feet give off a faint luminescence. You glide toward it, using a flutter kick, hands outstretched. A few seconds later, you reach him and pull him down.
Good morning, Mr. Digby.
Good morning, clerk.
Hope you slept well.
Yes, thank you.
Have you heard the terrible news?
What news?
Oh, of course you couldn't have. There's been another drowning, one of the regular summer residents. He was swimming off the dunes last night and evidently was pulled down by the Undertow.
Oh, that's too bad. Who was it?
Mr. Harrison Merrivale. Very nice man. Only 50 years old.
Well, accidents will happen.
Well, Mrs. Merrivale and the guests were there. They saw him go in. Poor man. Never came back. Couldn't have been anything else.
No. No, it couldn't have been anything else.
Hello?
Hello, it's John.
John, listen, I can't talk. The house is still full of friends and relatives. You've got to be patient. They're already asking questions.
It's been 3 days, Sandra. I want to see you. Get rid of them, will you?
Well, I'll try. Goodbye, John.
It isn't easy, is it, John? Waiting for a phone call that never comes. Finally, you can't stand it anymore. And you drive out by the dunes, run the car out of sight off the road, and walk until you're inside of the house. If only you can see her, talk to her for a few minutes, you'll feel better. A half hour goes by, and then she comes out of the house in her bathing suit, starts toward the water. It's perfect, isn't it, John? You can swim out, too. Talk to her somewhere offshore. And then you stop, staring unbelievingly as a young man comes out, joining Sandra. As they move off to splash about in the surf, you edge toward the house. Still, empty. Not a sign of a mourning relative. There's a large clump of hydrangeas growing near an open window. You ease yourself in behind them, crouch down to wait and to listen. It isn't long.
Oh, Clark, you simply must learn to swim. It's so much fun.
And so dangerous. No thanks, darling. I'll keep my feet on the ground.
But nothing would ever happen to you.
You can bet on that, sweet. Now that we're out of sight of those nosy scientists on the barge, how about a little kiss?
Oh, Clark. Clark, dear, let's be serious for a moment. What are we going to do?
Well, we'll get married.
But when?
Oh, I can't get away before next week. How about Monday?
I'd like to go sooner. There's a reason.
What reason?
I'd rather not say.
Monday, my pet. Now, how about some lunch?
Ooh, the tramp. The little tramp.
I think he's just a little upset. The Whistler, February 4th, 1948, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll have the conclusion of The Whistler and an episode of Speed Gibson of the International Secret Police from 1939, when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues following these important messages. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Whistler, Undertow, as it was originally broadcast February 4th, 1948.
You're shaking all over as you get up and stumble back to the road. You drive around to get control of yourself, to think, and then...
John, you shouldn't have come here.
Why not? No one's going to see me.
Well, it's so soon after...
That's what I want to talk to you about, Sandra. I don't want it to appear as if you were in a terrific rush to get married.
Oh?
I thought maybe I'd go back to New York tomorrow and get some work in until you can join me, say in about a month or so.
Oh, that's a splendid idea, John.
Then we can have a quiet wedding, go on a trip or something, and come back and settle down with nobody the wiser.
John, you are thoughtful, dear.
I thought you'd like it, Sandra. Only since I won't see you for so long, I'd like to take something back with me. A memory, sort of.
Oh, sentimental.
I guess I am, sort of. Anyway, I thought we could say goodbye in the same way we met. You know, swimming.
Swimming?
Mm-hmm. Let's go for a long swim, Sandra, way out. Then in the morning, heading back for New York, I'll remember you as you were that first time. My lovely mermaid.
Give me time to change.
My trunks are out in the car. I'll meet you in the water on the other side of the barge.
I'll be there in 20 minutes. Darling.
Over here, Sandra. Hang on to this cable.
Oh, isn't the water wonderful?
It's wonderful, all right. Just like the night you sent your husband out here for me to drown.
John, I don't want to hear about it.
This isn't about it, Sandra. This is about me, John Digby, the man you said you wanted to marry, remember?
John, I don't know what...
It's no use, Sandra. I know all about your friend Clark.
You know about... Get away from me, John. Let go, I'm going in.
Not in, Sandra. No, down, the way Harrison went down. Another accident in the Undertow.
No, please, John, let me go.
No.
Clark needs nothing to me.
Two days later, it doesn't seem real, does it, John? As you drive on from Cape Ann north to the Maine beaches, as you fill your eyes with the beauty of the down east coastline, and as more long, lazy weeks pile up, It recedes farther and farther into your memory, and you can't believe that you committed 2 murders. That the undertow pulls you out beyond your emotional depth for 5 horrible days. For Sandra's gone now, and you're as safe as on the day you dragged yourself out of the undertow on the Carolina Capes. It's 2 days after you arrive back in New York that a man drops into your apartment, flashes a headquarters shield.
I'm Lieutenant Patton, Mr. Digby.
Oh? Well, what can I do for you, Lieutenant?
I'd like you to drive downtown with me, if you will.
Any particular reason?
Yeah. A few weeks back, there were a couple of drownings in Massachusetts. This way, please.
Now, look here, Lieutenant. I insist on you. You tell me the reason for all of this. I don't know anything about...
You'll know in a minute. Hello, Dr. Alderman.
Yes, sir?
This is Mr. Digby, Dr. Alderman.
How do you do?
How do you do? I'm an ichthyologist, Mr. Digby. Fish, you know. For the past year, I've been conducting some experiments from the Woods Hole base.
You've heard of Woods Hole, of course, Digby?
Well, yes, but what has
Go on, Doctor.
Very interesting experiments they were. During the war, the Navy discovered its underwater detection apparatus was picking up some curious impulses, vibrations, which we later discovered were made by fish, the sound of fish. I'd like to play you a recording we made.
Now, wait a minute, Lieutenant. I haven't got time to sit
It'll
around...
only take a moment, Digby. Got the turntable ready, Doctor?
Yes, here we are. Now, our microphone is in about 50 feet of water, right over a bed of snapping shrimp. This is the way they sound. That noise is made by snapping their claws together. Now, here is a chorus of croakers. Our microphone is right over this school of fish. Here are some single fish. There is a rock cod. That's a flounder. The records you have just heard were official recordings made for the Navy several weeks ago. But a few nights later, we were testing the equipment. Well, listen to this record.
Oh, isn't the water wonderful?
It's wonderful, all right. Just like the night you sent your husband out here for me to drown.
John, I don't want to hear about it.
This isn't about it, Sandra. This is about me, John Digby. The man you said you wanted to marry, remember?
John, I don't know.
What about that, Digby?
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
All right. I can't argue with that.
You don't want to hear the rest?
No. I know the rest. By heart.
Of course you do. You're a wonderful swimmer, Digby. I guess you just got in a little too deep.
Let that whistle be your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler. Each Wednesday night at this same time, brought to you by the Signal Oil Company, marketers of Signal gasoline and motor oil, and fine quality automotive accessories. Signal has asked me to remind you, to get the most driving pleasure, drive at sensible speeds, be courteous, and obey traffic regulations. It may save a life, possibly your own. Featured in tonight's story were Doris Singleton and Wally Mayer. The sounds of fish used in tonight's script were actual undersea sounds recorded by University of California oceanographers at the Naval Research Laboratory, San Diego. The Whistler was produced by George W. Allen, with story by George and Gertrude Fass, and music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted to our troops overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. Next Wednesday, for a full hour of mystery over most of these stations, tune in a half hour earlier. Enjoy The Saint, as well as The Whistler. This is Marvin Miller speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
From February 4th, 1948, The Whistler on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of Speed Gibson of the International Secret Police. This goes all the way back to February 4th, 1939.
Gibson of the International Secret Police.
Ceiling zero. Ceiling zero. Ceiling zero.
After Davis is shot and killed by a mysterious sniper on the island of Madeira, Speed, Clint, and Smiley, together with Felipa, the Portuguese official, suspect that they may find the murderer in the Whispering Cave on the other side of the island. Determined to arrest this man, whom they believe to be another Octopus operator, they all speed to this mysterious cave, once a pirate stronghold, in a fast launch. The older men go ashore, leaving Speed to guard the boat, and Clint tells his nephew to fire 2 shots should danger threaten. Meantime, just as they arrive inside of the cave's mouth, Smiley sees a movement inside, and the attackers all drop to their faces, hoping that they have been unseen.
Can you see him, Clint?
Yes, barely. 2 men.
Think they've spotted us?
No, they don't dream anyone's within miles. They're looking out to sea as if expecting a boat. Now they've gone back inside the cave.
A boat must be coming to pick them up.
Yeah, but we'll have a little surprise party for that landing party. Is it safe to move yet, Clint?
Yep. It's all clear. Come on.
Well, let me make sure that I still got all the stuff I was toting. Wouldn't want to get inside that Whispering Cave and find myself without a gun. It'd be a mighty embarrassing situation, to say the least.
All right. But don't waste any time, Smiley. I don't like to be out here on these slippery rocks any longer than necessary. We're good targets while we're here, you know.
Okay, let's mosey.
Say, I would give anything to know just how many men are inside of that cave.
These tear gas bombs will take care of an army, Felipe, providing we get a chance to use them. That's our main worry, to see our quarry before they see us.
Yeah, man. Say, is it black inside the cave, Felipe?
Oh, no, not at first. A weird blue light illuminates the place until one progresses into its depths. It is a very vast cavern, and the further one goes, the blacker it becomes.
Nice cozy place for a murder.
We're almost at the mouth of the cave now. Watch yourself. You must make sure there's no one near the entrance.
You know, I wish I was a mind reader, because it looks like that's the only way anybody will be able to know. May have a weird blue light once you're inside, but from the outside looking in, it's mighty black.
Well, I doubt very much if we are disturbed on entering, Mr. Barlow. Since these fellows have no suspicion that we are here, there will probably be no guard.
I hope so, Felipa. Have to take a chance, I guess. Keep your guns ready.
Don't you worry about that. You know, this sand is a lot better to walk on, those rocks. It goes right into the mouth of the cave, doesn't it?
Yes, the tides have deposited the sand here, and you will find it clear up to the tide line in the cave.
Somehow I just don't like those tides that run into this here cave. Sounds dangerous to me.
Never mind the tides, Neptune. We're ready to enter the cave now, so pipe down. I'll go first, then Felipa, and you bring up the rear, Smiley.
Sure enough.
All's clear so far.
Yeah. Wonder where they got to so quick.
Would you rather find them waiting for you here, Mr. Preston?
Oh, no, not me. Say, this place does have a blue light. And you know, it's beautiful.
Keep your mind on your work, Smiley. Next thing we know, you'll start looking for mermaids.
Oh, no, sir, not me. Mermaids and octopuses don't mix.
Stay to your right, Mr. Barlow. We are getting to the tide pools now, and in this dim light, there is danger of falling into them. They are very deep.
This cave has everything, doesn't it? Say, Clint, before getting too far into it, what about Speed? How can we hear gunshots way back in the cave if nothing else can be heard?
Gunshots, yes, Mr. Preston. That is the one sound that will carry into the recesses of the cave.
We better put our flashlights on a minute, Smiley. I want to see something.
Sure enough. There's your light.
Cast it down on the sand.
Looking for pirate treasure, Clint?
No. Footprints. I want to make sure we're following the murderer, that he's not following us.
Uh-oh.
Yep. There are the prints. We're all right. There was a chance that they might have sighted us, pretended not to, and then secreted themselves in some hiding place until we passed, so that they could block off our escape. But these footprints are good news. They're still ahead of us.
Them, and we don't know what else.
Don't you worry about us, Smiley. I'm just hoping that Speed doesn't have any trouble in the boat while we're all in here.
Go away, you seagulls. Somebody's liable to see you hanging around here and wonder what's over here and come over to find out. That wouldn't be so good. Gosh, wonder what the fellas are doing. They ought to be way inside the cave by now. Doggone. Wish I could have gone with them instead of sticking out here in the boat. What are you seagulls looking at anyhow? Fish? Let's see if I can see any. Gee, the water's clear. And look at that big fish down there. Boy, he's a whopper. If I'd known I was going to stay in the boat, I might have gotten a fishing line someplace and had some fun. Hey, what was that? Oh, it's just a rock fell in the water. I better not watch the fish. Somebody could come up here without me seeing him if I hang over the side of the boat all the time. What's that way out at sea? Looks like a boat. It is a boat, and it's heading right for this cove. Where's those binoculars? Oh, here they are. Then we'll see just what sort of boat she is. Maybe they're just out fishing. Not flying any sort of flag. That's not so good. And that looks like a gun mounted on the forward deck. It's all covered up, but it sure looks like it. That must be an octopus boat. And if the raid is coming, it'll be here before Clinton and the others will be out of the cave. I've got to warn them. Gosh, what'll I do?
Say, I'm getting kind of nervous, Clint. It seems to me we've come far enough to have found something or somebody by this time.
Still on the right track, Smiley. Still see footprints in the sand.
And we'll soon be above the tide line, and after that, I imagine, we shall have find our men. They probably would not stay any place but above the tide line.
That's so. I forgot about that doggone tide line. Oh, what's that?
Oh, that is the whispering I told you about. The tide is a-changing, and the currents of air have drawn up through small openings to cause this sound.
Man, oh man, I don't like that a little bit. No wonder they used to think this cave was haunted.
Will we have time to leave here before the tide runs in, Felipe?
Oh, yes, it will take a little time for it to reach the mouth of the cave, you know.
Yeah, but what we don't know is how long we're going to be in here. You don't know just when we're going to find those octopus fellas, do you, Clint?
No, but I've got a hunch it should be soon. You see, we're above the tide line now. And look, there's a passage leading into what appears to be another cave. Quick, off of the lights.
What is it?
I think we've come to the end of the trail. There's a dim light in there. You see?
Yeah, like from a lantern.
Shall we go in and take them now?
No. Let's wait a minute. If we get a little closer, perhaps we can hear something important.
Something happened. Either the boat come or we get word from the boss.
Shh, wait a minute.
I'm sick and tired of hanging around this stuff. We've done our business. Now we ought to get out of here while the getting's good.
Yeah.
I didn't like the job in the first place. I like to fight in the open, not shoot out of bushes.
Yeah, we didn't get them all.
No, we got Barlow. He's the kingpin of the secret police. He's the one the boss wanted to get special.
Hear that, Clint? Shh, careful.
You want to go out and see if we can track the boat again?
Nah. It ain't no easy walk between here and the mouth of the cave to do it every half hour or so. I just hope that boat gets here before the tide changes, or we'll be stuck in here until it runs out again. Well, there's the boss's signal. I'll open it up wide. We don't want to miss anything, and sometimes that set ain't so clear.
The octopus whale.
You mean he always has a noise like that when he goes on the air?
Yes. He must be alive. But he can't be.
Boy, we'll sure find out.
And to think that they ever shoot the way of a set in this cave. It is amazing.
Shh. Listen.
OC1 calling OC7. OC1 calling OC7. Standing by.
Okay for two-way conversation, boss. Come on in.
The octopus. Alive.
But, Clint, you said he jumped out of your plane.
Wait.
What have you accomplished, Dixon?
Well, I got Barlow, boss. The others got away, but Barlow's out of the way.
Barlow. Dead at last. I've waited a long time for this.
I sure finished them off.
Good, Dixon. You should be well rewarded for this day's work. I'm only sorry that I was not there to see you do the job myself.
Why, the dirty three-cornered deluder.
Boss, we haven't sighted any boat yet. When are they coming to pick us up?
They should arrive at any time. I contacted the boat just before I talked to you. They had already sighted Madeira.
Yeah? Ah, swell. I'm getting nervous. I don't like to hang around a place after I've done a job.
Still, I do not like you to leave before completing it fully, Dixon.
Oh, what do you mean?
You said the others escaped. I want them destroyed as well. Particularly the boy. He's too much like Clint Barlow for my liking. He might carry on where his uncle left off. That must not be.
But I don't know how to get them, boss. They'll be on their guard now. They had a Portuguese official with him, saw his uniform through my field glass. Same as I spotted the hat and coat on Barlow, like you said he was wearing.
They had a description of your clothes, Clint.
How does he do it?
I don't care how you get the boy, Dixon, but destroy him you must. Perhaps with the boat at the island it will be easy. You may take greater chances, but not one of the secret police must leave Madeira alive.
Well, I'll do my best, boss.
You know what awaits you should you fail. Let me know the moment you have accomplished my orders.
Yes, sir. We'll leave the cave now. That boat ought to be in sight by now.
Very well. And do not fail. OC1 signing off.
Phew. Yeah, if he looks like he talks, I'll bet he's a beaut. Well, come on. Let's get out of this coon.
Hey, they're coming out. What'll we do? We might. Listen, Speed signal.
Hey, you hear something like shot spike?
It is Speed. He's in trouble. Come on.
Hey, who's there? Stop. Go away from Spike. Look out, Speed, look out!
Speed Gibson of the International Secret Police, February 4th, 1939. My friend Ted over at RadioMemories.com has all 178 episodes of Speed Gibson available on CD, cassette, or flash drive for your computer. Contact him at RadioMemories.com. That's RadioMemories.com. His phone number, if you want to call, is 501-920-6089. I know many of you are not internet connected. 501-920-6089. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do me a favor and thank this radio station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you here on your favorite radio station. Visit my webpage, classicradio.stream, for more information on building a classic radio collection of your own, and you can also find out how to hear our shows on demand. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.